Hey, shalawam. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barak HaKadash. Shalawam and citations to the election. The house of David, who's receiving instruction and receiving the word from the mouth of the Lord, which is the voice of his men that are walking in his word. And it goes beyond just speaking and talking. It goes into actually doing. And that goes into bringing forth the fruits. Bringing forth fruits. And now, like I did a video the other night going into basically the Lord's really shutting this thing down. He's shutting this thing off. And if you haven't been preparing and gathering, right? Gathering in the spirit and the oil, then you're not going to have anything. You see? You're not gonna have. You're nothing. The topics that you're gonna talk about are nothing. It's just all vain, all vanity. Ezekiel 3:24. It says, "Then the Spirit entered into me and set me upon my feet, and spake with me and said unto me, Go, shut thyself within thine house." Let me read that again. So the Spirit is saying, "Shut thyself in your house," meaning it's time to go inside. It's time to be hidden, and just like in the time of Egypt, he had that ordinance of to put the blood of the lamb on the doorposts. So the same thing's happening now, but it's not a carnal blood. It's spiritual. You have to have the life of Yahweh Shai dwelling in you and covering you from sin and all the wickedness of this world. It says, "Go, shut thyself within thine house." So that's what the Spirit is saying right now. "But thou, O son of man, behold, they shall put bands upon thee, and shall bind thee with them, and thou shalt not go out among them. And I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house." And the reason why this is happening is because a lot of guys that were bid into the marriage are not worthy. So the Lord, he doesn't want to reprove them or tell them anything anymore. So let's get this word for dumb. Is the Hebrew word alam, meaning to bind, to be dumb, to be put to silence, right? You see, be tongue-tied of the mouth. So that's what's happening. And these are the days we're in the evil days. So the prudent, right, the wise is going to understand and be quiet. Proverbs 22:3, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil." You see, having the eye salve, seeing beyond what's happening right now. It says, "And hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." You see, and this is going into the Passover. Amos 5:13, "Therefore the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time." You see that? And you have a lot of guys that were once good, they're turning evil. Certain things are happening in the spirit. So let me get this word for prudent. The word prudent is circumspect. Understand wisely, you see. Teach. To be taught, right? That's right. Cause to prosper, have success. And when you're succeeding and you're getting blessed, guess what? People that see that and they're not getting blessed like you, they're going to covet what you have. They're going to be jealous. They're going to be envious. There came a time with Joseph and his other brothers that he was getting blessed and the Lord was dealing with him in the spirit and the dreams and everything, the visions, that his brothers couldn't speak peaceably with him anymore. So we're not in a time of peace. The Lord said, "I have not come to send peace, but a sword, to set a man at variance with his family." So this is what's happening. This is what is happening. And you have to take heed what the Spirit is saying. The Spirit is saying, "Shut thyself within thine house." Ezekiel 3 and verse 27. But when I speak with thee, I will open thy mouth, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, He that heareth, let him hear. And he that forbeareth, let him forbear, for they are a rebellious house, right? Because our people, they're always rebelling and fighting against the spirit. You know, just like a disobedient son that's going through puberty or some shit. He always wants to fight with his dad or fight with his parents and shit. You see? And that's why the Lord said to put away the childish things. Because the Lord's tabernacle is with men. So going into this scripture, this is going into what the Spirit is saying even in the end times. Let's go to Revelation. So basically everything's being set in stone at this time. Revelation 22 in verse 10. And this is the final message. It says, And he saith unto me, Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. Right? So we're not like, just like Paul said, we read that earlier in Acts 22. We have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of God, the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? It says, He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. It means they're not going to stop. They're not going to change. They're set in their ways. So if guys are in the way of a broad gate or in the way of a rebellious spirit, then that's just what it is. That's what they're gonna be still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly. So things are happening speedily and rapidly. And my reward is with me, to give every man according as his work shall be. So it's all about your work. And you need to be working your own salvation with fear and trembling. But guys, they're laughing, they're smiling, they're making things a game. They think it's funny. It's not funny. The Lord's not going to come back laughing or having a smile. He's going to come back with with war. Zechariah 1 and 4. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways and from your evil doings. But they did not hear nor hearken unto me, saith Yahweh. You see that? So the prophets have always been crying. And this is like the moment of time where it's like the Lord doesn't want everyone to see us cry. You know, we're not crying with carnal tears, but we're crying aloud. We're showing our people their sins. Now it's like the Lord doesn't even want us to show them their sins. Just let them be. Let them be. Let the blind lead the blind to death. Let the multitude perish that was born in vain. Haven't really been reborn again in the spirit. That's the only way you can enter into the kingdom. Go through the straight gate. When you have the mind of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai wasn't getting famous and praised and double honored and tithes and this and that. So we're breaking these certain things down. We're breaking down these scriptures and we're breaking down the wicked. We're breaking them apart. And they're crumbling at the spirit and the truth. And all the guys that are trying to hide themselves and think like we don't see them, the Lord sees you. He sees what you're trying to do. And you're not slick. You know? And that's the thing with our people. They'll offend and they'll sin against their brother and they'll do this and then they'll do that. And then they won't even say a salaki or I'm sorry, forgive me. It's just they just shake their head like Khan. Yeah, Khan. But see, their heart is far from the Lord, but their mouth, they show much love like they agree, but really they're not. They're at a disagreement with the Lord. Matthew 18 and 16, but if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. So everything's being established. And matter of fact, let me get a scripture. The Lord said, let thy word be the same. Basically, your word being the same as your actions. So not being a hypocrite. Sirach 5 in verse 7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. So don't put off the day of the Lord. This has to be your first priority. And then everything comes after. And then everything that comes after, whatever the Lord puts upon you, is going to be a blessing in it. It's going to be profitable. It's going to be positive. You see? So you have to put the Lord first. It says, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of Yahweh come forth, and in the security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. So your mind can't be on the riches and the corruptness of this world and society. It says, winnow not with every wind, and go not in every way, for so doth the sinner that hath a double tongue. Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. Be swift to hear, right? So you have to be very quick to listen to the Spirit and listen to brothers that are in the way, in the straight gate. You have to be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. You see that? But our people, they're very hasty. They're very hasty. And they be just quick to just say whatever out of their mouth. And many has fallen by the sword, but not as how many have fallen by the tongue. So guys are going to fall by their tongue. It's going to get them in trouble. And then it is that time of Jacob's trouble. And see, the thing is with the wicked is like, and like just like students or children that are in trouble and like they're guilty of whatever the offense is, they try to take other people down with them and get others in trouble with them, so they don't have to take all the heat themselves. That's what the world is trying to do. Wisdom, Proverbs 4 and verse 5, get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. So the way you're not going to forget it is you're always going to be reminding yourself and reminding the close ones near you, over and over and over, repetitive, saying the same thing, and admonishment and reproving and judgment and counsel, and you know what I'm saying? It says, forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So you have to understand. And this is what's going to keep you stable from falling away. So you have to take heed how you hear. John 14:24, he that loveth me not, keepeth not my saying. So guys, they don't love Yahushua. That's why they're not keeping his sayings. They're not bringing out his scriptures, the letters in red, because they don't have the blood. They don't have the life. It says, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. See, so same thing with us. Like, our words isn't our own. We're not just pulling this out of our backside. We're literally saying the words of Yahushua, our head. That's why the scriptures always say, thus saith the Spirit saith. You see? So you gotta take heed how you hear, and take heed to your friends. Because we are in a time of adversity. And when you take heed to something, you listen up. Luke 8 and verse 18. Take heed, therefore, verse 17, for nothing is secret that should not be made manifest, neither anything hid that should not be made known and come abroad. So the chosen are being made known more and more, and we're coming abroad. It says, take heed, therefore, how ye hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given. And whomsoever hath not, right, hath not the Spirit, has not the fruits of the Spirit, the mercy, the kindness, the reasoning, hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he seemeth to have. So this is the austerity and the severity of the Lord. So this world's gonna be like, oh my gosh, how could you do that? That's so mean, right? But that's the Spirit. We're at war right now, and you have to have all your armory, all your weaponry. You have to be paying attention to details and instructions. When the captain or whatever, which Yahushua is the captain of our salvation, when the captain of our army is telling you, all right, make sure you lace up your boots, make sure you have ammunition, make sure your sword is sharp, make sure your armor is tight, and then someone just doesn't do that, I was like, oh, don't worry, I'll do it my way. Well, you might be destroyed because you're not listening to the instructions. Just like if you get a complicated furniture, and there's instructions to put it together. If you just forget the instructions, you try to do it yourself, self-willed, then it's gonna take you longer, and two, you might never put it together. And that's how guys are. They're like not putting this word together, not able to put what's going on together, like, because they don't have all the pieces right. Exodus 20 and verse 19, and they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us, lest we die. You see that? And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. You see that? So they want to listen to Moses, but it came time where, like, even in the time of the Pharisees and scribes, where they would be like, oh, we're Moses' disciples, but they didn't even keep the things which Moses told them to. You see? So just like the scriptures say, it came to them as a book with words that couldn't be opened. They couldn't open it. Because if you want to hide anything from our people, you hide it in a book, because our people don't want to read. They don't want to take time away from the world and the glittery and the pleasurable things of the world to just read in isolation and in silence. And that's where the words of the wisdom in Yahushua is really heard. Revelation chapter 5. 5 in verse 1 says, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaim with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? So only if you're worthy, then you'll be able to open these locks up, because the Lord's going to put that key upon your shoulder. It says, and no man in heaven nor on earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. You see? But Yahushua was able to do it. He was the first fruit. He was the first one to be able to do this. And now he's given us that ability to open up these certain things that have been closed and have been for a long time. The scriptures talk about how these things are now made manifest unto us in these end moments. Romans 16 and 26, but now, Romans 16 and 25, now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Yahushua Mashiach, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest, you see, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting power, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. See? So that goes into trusting the Lord. Obedience of faith is trusting in the Lord, not trusting your own way. Isaiah 6 and 9. And he said, Isaiah 6 and 8, and also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? Right, so Isaiah, the whole thing, all the prophets, they were able to hear the voice of the Lord because they were in quiet. They were in isolation. They were chosen and picked out. It says, saying, whom shall I send, and whom will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. You see? And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Now let's get this word for understand and perceive, because that's why the Lord said, ye that have ears to hear, hear, and eyes to see, see. So let's get this word for understand and perceive. The word understand is bayan. The Hebrew word bayan means to discern, you see, be able to judge, right? To understand, know with the mind, to observe, to distinguish, instruct, prudent, Attentive, you see? Insight. And insight is the capacity to gain an accurate and deep intuitive understanding of a person or thing. Now let's get this word perceive. And this goes into, this is spiritual power, man. See, guys, they need a sign. They need you to freaking transform like fucking Hulk, you know, because they're carnal. So the word perceive is to know by experience. And the Lord said in Sirach how he that has little experience has little wisdom. So only if you've been through a lot, you're gonna proclaim wisdom. Because you have been through a lot. So and if you learn from your mistakes, that's how wisdom comes. And you're not gonna do those things again. Sirach 34:9, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. And he that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence. You see? And we just read it earlier, the prudent shall hide himself because of evil time. So this is what's happening. Wisdom of Solomon 8:8, if a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders in the events of seasons and times. Beautiful. So when you're in the spirit, you're gonna know everyone. You're gonna know everything. That's why the Lord said, you have need that no man teach you, because you know all things. You have an unction from the Holy One, you know all things. You see? That's what you're gonna be able to have when you listen and you understand. And Lord gives you the spirit to comprehend what's written aforetime was for our learning to use it as a shield and as a weapon now to fight against all these demons and all this wickedness and sin. Jeremiah 13 and verse 16 says, 15 says, hear ye and give ear. Be not proud, for Yahweh hath spoken. Give glory to Yahweh your power, before he caused darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains. And while ye look for light, he turn it into the shadow of death, and make it gross darkness. And that's what our people are covered by. They're covered by a darkness that's very gross. And they call good evil and evil good. They put darkness for light and light for darkness. So they're so warped. They've been deceived. Says, but if ye will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and mine eyes shall weep sore and run down with tears, because the Lord's flock is carried away captive. Right? So our people, they're still captive by their sins. They're so bound by their sins. So they're not able to see. They're not able to go where we're going and say what we're saying and witness truthfully. So that's what's happening. The Lord, his soul is weeping in secret places, and the soul goes in the breath of life, which we have. So it's in secret place where we're crying out. Jeremiah 17:23, but they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. So with much wisdom comes much sorrow, because it's going to actually separate you, and it's going to cause you to have to be alone, because even guys that say they're of the Lord are really not. They're just devils, and they're putting on a front. That's why the Lord said, let every man be a liar, the Most High be true. Because men lie. They lie all the time. But the truth has its way of just always coming to surface in the end. All things are being revealed. Zechariah 7:11 says, but they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder. See, so the Lord, he's not putting the key of David on their shoulder, because they're pulling away their shoulder. And stopped their ears, that they should not hear. Yeah, they made their hearts as adamant stone, lest they should hear the law and the words which the Lord of hosts has sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Now that spirit is back here today in the present prophets today, because the spirits were subjected to the prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from Yahweh of hosts. Therefore, right, great, there's our word great for you GMS guys. It says, therefore it is come to pass that as he cried and they would not hear, So they cried, and I would not hear, said Yahweh of hosts. You see? So here it is, the Lord's crying out, and they didn't want to listen. So when you guys cry out, and Lord brings your fear and your dread upon you, and you're crying to the Lord, he's not going to hear you. All praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh, Shai, Rakak, Wadash, Baba Ball. Repent, take heed, and shalawam.